What's up, homegirl? Welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I got me some new hair. We have upgraded from the $20 wig, girl. She's still here. She's still hanging on. Don't get it twisted. But for $33, we had to upgrade to a new wig. So I'm going to be filming my first Get Ready With Me. So if you want to see how I did this very, very, very do not come for me basic face, and how I installed my new headband wig, and if you want to hear my birth story of how I found out that I was pregnant, went through my whole pregnancy during COVID, and gave birth to my two beautiful homegirls, continue to watch this video for my Get Ready With Me. So a little black girl unboxing. Girl, I was struggling to open this box, but only because I was trying to open it with my left hand and record with my right. But other than that, the box was super cute. Now let's get into it. So of course you have the wig itself. You also get 5 headbands. I'm currently wearing the black one. There was also a little toolkit that had like a brush to lay your edges, tweezers for if you're doing a lace front, bobby pins, things like that. There's also a little booklet that has like hair care instruction, 2 wig caps, and a letter from the owner. Super cute. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, I do have my eyebrows on because I had to concentrate for that, girl. I could not talk and tell my story and do my brows at the same time. She has no eyebrows, so I had to just like add the focus. But the rest of my face I am gonna do, and let me also put it out there that I am not a makeup artist. I do not claim to be. Don't be coming for me on my different methods and how I do it. This is just how I do my basic face. Let's go ahead and get started. So picture it, March 2020. We hadn't gotten to that part of the pandemic yet where stuff was shutting down, but it was like maybe 2 weeks before. Still going to work, everything was still normal. But I started to feel sick. I'm gonna do my liner. It's the Kat Von D ink liner in Trooper Black. I like to do a cat eye. It's part of my basic look. I'm gonna go ahead and try to do this on camera. We'll see how this turns out. But yeah, so still going to work, waiting for my period to start. But she had not made her appearance yet. And then Trump made his announcement. COVID was getting worse. We go into quarantine. During quarantine, whatever it was that I was feeling was starting to get like more intense. I found myself sleeping a lot, not eating a lot, but just like body was going through something. So I told myself that if my period did not come by April, beginning of April, then I would take a pregnancy test. Now, at the time I was 31. My husband and I were not married yet, but we were engaged. Our wedding was scheduled for May 21st of 2020. Like, it was crunch time for the wedding. So yeah, so like we had a lot on our plate. COVID hit. We didn't know it was going to be as bad as it was, of course. So we hadn't moved to cancel anything. We were just kind of keeping an eye on things, but still planned on moving forward with the wedding. I think just like everybody else, you know, who thankfully wasn't like sick or impacted by COVID, like health-wise, or if you didn't have kids at the time, you just took it as like, well, I don't have to go to work, so I'm gonna go ahead and just chill. And then April, still no period, so I said, all right, let me go ahead and take this test. Honey, I hadn't even finished going to the bathroom, and them 2 lines popped up. Now, like I said, I'm 31. I had been on birth control for years, and I think I had just stopped taking my birth control for like the last maybe 2 or 3 years, just to kind of give my body a rest. I was getting married, so I was only sleeping with one man. So it was like, you know, we can get off the birth control and give the body a rest. But had never gotten pregnant. So I was like, you know, maybe I can't get pregnant because I put my body through so much from being on birth control since I was 17. No big deal. It just wasn't in God's plan. I'm really trying to concentrate and tell my story. But yeah, we'll continue. My husband was working from home, and I was like, I'm about to take Coop outside real quick. Took the dog outside, called my mother, and was like, Ma, I'm pregnant. Of course, she's ecstatic. I'm like a range of emotions, don't know how to take all this in, like, girl. Told my husband when he went on his lunch break, of course he thought that I was joking, like April Fools, that type of thing. And I was like, I don't play those games. So he was, you know, excited, but also nervous at the same time. I hope that this looks clean. Girl, it was fine. It was fine. Anyway, we'll clean that up later. Now I'm gonna do my foundation. I'm gonna be using Fenty's Pro Filt'r Hydrating Longwear foundation. If you watched my last video, then you saw this in my haul. I also have that $20 beauty blender. So we're definitely gonna use her. I've wet the beauty blender. I'm not gonna do a primer. Normally, if I was going out or gonna wear the makeup longer, I would do my Becca primer, but I'm not gonna do that because I'm not really going anywhere, so we're gonna skip the primer. I ended up having to get an ultrasound very, very early because I had some spotting. So they wanted to do an ultrasound just to make sure that everything was okay. Cool, no problem. I'm just laying there on the table feeling very uncomfortable with this wand up my vagina. But it's like 10 minutes of silence. And I'm just like, okay. I did ask if everything was okay, and the tech was just like, yeah, it's just that you're very early, so I just want to make sure that all the images I'm getting, you know, are clear and precise and all that stuff. Cool. The doctor comes back in and is like, so I hear we're having twins. Who? They showed me the screen, and sure enough, it was two little dots in their own separate sacs, fraternal twins in there. So because it was COVID by this point, no one could come to my first doctor's appointment with me. But it was in Smyrna, and my parents live in Douglasville, which is not that far. So they came to be with me because my husband was working. Or my fiance at the time. So they came just to like be in the parking lot and be there for when I got out. So when I got out, I was like, y'all not gonna believe this. And my dad goes, it's triplets. And I was like, close. Twins, my G. So yeah, told the husband. He thought the A and the B was like the head and the foot. I was like, nah, baby, that's two. Actually dawned on us that my uncles are twins and my husband's aunt and uncle are twins. My morning sickness was terrible, terrible. It's like once I found out that I was pregnant, it kicked in. I'm talking never really threw up, but was sick every day, all day. Morning sickness is the wrong term for it because it was literally all day long that I was sick, all freaking day. It was terrible. I was thankful for being under quarantine because I didn't have to go to work because I would have been trash at work. So yeah, I spent a lot of my time just in the bed, trying to eat, but I really couldn't keep anything down. Just little by little stuff just would not sit well with me. I couldn't take certain smells. Like I was just going through it in terms of the morning sickness. It was really bad. Child, it is storming outside. And it's my mother's birthday, so the rain is cleansing. I had to go to the doctor quite often. I think they had me monthly, and then I also had to see a specialist because twin pregnancies is considered high risk. I think I've put on all the foundation I'm gonna put on. And if you saw my last video, then you know that I was in a rush and kind of just had to grab whatever I could. I'm not mad at it, but I probably will get a different color. I'm gonna keep it though because it's a little bit darker. Just the insiest bit darker than what I would normally use. But we're going to Florida. I'm probably gonna get a tan. So I'm like, I'm gonna just keep you, sis. Anyway, but that's it for foundation. I'm going to, again, if you saw my last video, you know that I do not have concealer. I did not re-up on concealer, but what I did get is my Fenty Bright Fix Eye Brightener. It's an illuminator, so I'm gonna go ahead and just use this. It works very well for me. I'm not gonna use it to conceal anything else because obviously it's not meant to be a concealer. So I had a doctor's appointment, just routine visit, and when I pull up to the doctor, I felt wet. I go check in, and then I said, well, let me go to the bathroom. And obviously I'm gonna put this, I'm concealing my under eye. So I went to the bathroom, and as soon as I pulled my pants down, sorry if this is a little too graphic. Did y'all see them lights flicker? Girl. Anyway, as soon as I pulled my pants down, bleeding, gushing blood, like had to, and I told you guys I had been spotting a little bit before, but I mean, it was like heavy. So of course I'm in the bathroom freaking out because I have no idea what's going on. Thankfully I'm at the doctor. So I poke my head out and I'm like, I'm bleeding. I don't know what's going on. They, you know, when I get to a point where I can move again, I come out of the bathroom, they put me in a private room, and they do a pelvic exam just to make sure that stuff is intact. With the physical exam, everything seemed to be fine. Of course, they did another ultrasound, but you know, I'm super duper early. Like, you really can't pick up a lot at 8 weeks on an ultrasound. So there's, you know, very limited on what we can see and hear at this point. The doctor came in, so she's just giving me like all of the scenarios, right? And of course I'm there just like crying, just falling apart. It was one of the worst days of my life, like hands down. I called my parents. They were en route just to be there for when I got out of the appointment. So now they're like booking it because I'm on the phone with my mother and I'm just like bawling, crying while I wait, you know, for the doctor to come back. Of course, I called my husband. He immediately is like, I'm gonna clock out. I was just praying. And my prayer was really just like, of course, I wanted to save both of my babies, of course. I also just prayed like, God, if it's not meant for me to have both of these babies, or even one of these, you know, have both of the babies, or even one of the babies, I just pray that whatever your plan is, I can accept it. So finally, everybody arrived. My mom had to bring me some new clothes because I had just bled through my pants. I decided I am gonna conceal my forehead just a little bit, just to kind of like add, you know, make the highlight even, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna do my forehead, and then I'm gonna do around my chin. So they were sending me to the specialist that I had been seeing, so that because their tools were a little bit more advanced to kind of pick up the ultrasound and see what they could see. So now we're all headed downtown to Emory. Get to Emory, of course, the sucky part about COVID, one of the sucky parts about COVID, because COVID is just trash, was that no one could come in with me. So I just had this traumatic experience, don't know what's coming up next, and nobody can come in with me. So I go into the doctor's office, they're ready for me, and I'm there on the table again in silence. She found one of the babies. The baby is like literally like this big, at least on the screen, because it's blown up. The baby's like this big, but we see something, it's like fluttering around, cool. Then we go to look for the second baby, and we see the sac, but there's nothing in it. I can't describe the level of fear and sadness and just disbelief that had come over me, because remember, I didn't think I could get pregnant at all. And now here I am pregnant with twins, and now you mean to tell me I'm about to lose one of them? Talk about being mad at God. And probably what felt like forever went by, but it was probably about maybe 7-10 minutes. And then I saw something at the same time that she saw something. She's like, I think I saw something too. Let me check again. And sure enough, there was the second baby. And I felt her relief. Like she had a sigh of relief, just like, all right, so concealer's done. I'm a bit of a Fenty whore. So we're just gonna use Fenty's Pro Filt'r powder in the color Banana. So then I met with the doctor after they got the results, and they said that I had a threat of a miscarriage. Had never heard of such a thing, but it was just a situation where some women come very close to having a miscarriage. It doesn't actually happen, but of course, if and when that happens, they put you under heavy watch. So then they put me on pelvic rest, which just is another word for bed rest, meaning I could not be active, be on my feet for more than a couple minutes to like go get something to eat, go to the bathroom. Baby, this storm, she not playing. and no sex, which I wasn't in the mood for sex anyway. Sorry to this man. Then George Floyd happened. And so a lot of cities were rioting, looting. Atlanta was one of them. My shopping center, which is in Buckhead, was one of them. So the store shut down again for safety reasons. We shut down for a whole week. So I ended up not going back when I was scheduled to go back. Our Black men are just being killed in the streets. And it's all going viral, because let's not act like this has not been happening, but now it's gone viral. You know, people are just had enough. And you want to talk about some emotional stress during that pregnant, like June was, as I'm sure it was for a lot of people, especially Black people, but June for me was just, whew. Oh, and then I forgot, we had to cancel the wedding. So we were scheduled to get married in May. We ended up not having the wedding because stuff was still closed. COVID was still running things. I was very upset about that. I was really upset because, like, we have been planning this wedding for like a year. I learned to just find the blessing in things as best as I could. And so because I was pregnant and not feeling good, I was like, even if we were to get married during this time, have our wedding during this time, I would not have been any fun. I would have been sick the whole time, trying to, you know, finalize things, an actual day of the wedding, you know, probably feeling nauseous and just all this craziness, bleeding, like who knows what would have happened. We would have had our honeymoon and I would have been no fun. Like, I was pregnant and sick. So, you know, I just chose to look at it like God was giving me time to just rest because my body was going through a lot. What we did end up doing was having a Zoom wedding, which I was so not with in the beginning. I was like, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. I did my best to be a good sport about it. I think I did pretty okay. Kept it the same day that our original wedding was planned. I think that's enough powder. So yeah, we kept our original wedding date. And what we did was we had the family and friends on Zoom, because I think you can only have like 100 people. And then for everyone else, we aired it on Instagram Live. So we were in our living room. I got me a cute little white dress because I could not fit the wedding dress that I originally had picked out. It ended up going really well, very smooth. And then at the end, people wanted a reception, so which we hadn't even planned for. Went right to iTunes, and played some music through Zoom so people could hear it. And then people on live could also hear it because I was live on my phone. And we literally had a reception in the middle of my living room. We had bought some cupcakes, which we fed each other. We did our first dance. We didn't do a ring exchange because I was like, my fingers are gonna get fat. So we ended up getting married and the twins were there. So really, when it comes to my basic face, that's it. I don't really do nothing else. I'm gonna put a little bit of mascara, which is also Fenty. What is this called? This is full frontal, black. Put a little mascara on. And that's it for the face, so we can jump into the wig. All right, so I'm back. I did check on the baby, so I stepped away for just a second, and then I put on a little Fenty glow, little lip, and the wig cap that came with my Luvme Hair, and we're gonna go ahead and jump back into the story and put on our wig. I don't know if I said it, but this is a half wig. I am a very lazy girl when it comes to doing my hair. I'm also not advanced in doing wigs, all these lace fronts and stuff. I don't know how to do that stuff yet, but I do want to learn. So this is a half wig, headband wig. So where I left off in the story, I think now we're in summer of 2020. So back at work, we're in the second trimester, things are going a lot better. I'm able to keep food down a little bit more. I start gaining weight because I had actually lost weight in the first trimester. I'm looking cute, my little bumpity bump. We started telling people. We did a gender reveal. Of course, it's still COVID, so I'm still having to go to every single doctor's appointment by myself. Shout out to all of the mothers that gave birth during this pandemic, because being pregnant is no joke, period. Being pregnant during a pandemic and you can't go to the doctor with anybody, you have questions that you don't know you should be asking. You have, especially if you're a first-time mother, like all of this inexperience and you literally have to do it on your own. Like, people can't even come into the waiting room with you. Like, it was so lonely at times. And I just wish I was able to have my husband or my mother or my father in there to just hold my hands, to look at the ultrasound with me and see the babies. Like, whew, it was an emotional roller coaster. Here is the wig. It does have a comb at the top and 2 combs at the bottom, and then a band that velcros. So let's go ahead and install. Now, by this point, we're just in the home stretch and we're just waiting, like getting the house together, putting the cribs together. We had a social distance baby shower outside. Shout out to my bridesmaids who didn't end up getting to be bridesmaids for putting it together. I think I'm gonna slide this back a little bit. And it's a little tight, I'm not gonna lie. I lied to y'all again. It's 2 combs at the top and the bottom, girl. But yeah, let's sit this back a little bit. And these braids are fresh, so it's a little tight just all around. But yeah, so the 3rd trimester, it kind of went without a hitch. I did have to go to the doctor once or twice because of just a little bit of spotting, and you know, we're at the end, so of course I'm like nervous and all that good stuff. My coworker that was also pregnant actually went into labor, I think 5 weeks early or something like that. But her baby turned out okay. Beautiful, beautiful Kalia. And then I was 37 weeks. So by 37 weeks, my job had cleared me to not have to work anymore. It's a little janky in the back, the way that I have this Velcro. But she is on. Probably can pull it back a little bit more. Okay. I don't know if y'all can see the back, but she's cute. I'll lay the edges later because I want to get through this story. I was scheduled for a C-section because one of the babies was sideways, and the other one was ready to go. She was ready in the right position, but because they both weren't in the right position, head down, we had to schedule a C-section, which was fine by me because she did not want to push out 2 babies. I was not against having a C-section, nor was I against pain meds. Monday, the night of the 22nd, went to sleep, woke up at about 1 a.m. because I was in pain. So I'm like, okay, just like pacing through the house, breathing, all of that stuff, it's intensifying. So I'm like, okay, something's happening. I'm putting on the black headband. It came with an assortment of headbands like I showed you guys before. And I'm probably gonna buy some more too, but I hope I'm doing this right. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, so the pains were intensifying. I was tracking. It was like every 10 minutes, then it was every 7 minutes, then it became 5, then 2, and it was just like full-blown pain every 2 minutes. So I figured I was in labor. How was this supposed to go? Like, is this just... I don't know what I'm doing with, or maybe you're just supposed to like freestyle it and do it how you want, but I feel like it's supposed to crisscross. Child, I don't know. I think I'm overcomplicating it. I'm probably overcomplicating it. I don't know, but y'all see the wig, right? The wig is giving. It's super duper soft. Running my fingers through it. I put no water in it, no type of product, nothing. But as you can see, I can run my fingers through it, except for this part back here where the Velcro is. There we go. I got a second of Velcro. I just need to figure out how my headband is supposed to sit. But other than it, it's cute. Florida, here we come. We're at the hospital by this point. I'm getting checked in. The doctors come in. They check me. Yes, sis, you are in labor. The gag is So are two other women, and they're having twins. I'm there in pain, waiting for the epidural. It's just me and my husband. He's never even been to the doctor or to the hospital with me this entire process. So this is first time, like, you just jumping in head first. It turned out that I was further along in my labor than the woman who was scheduled to go before me. So they ended up putting me ahead of her. Sorry to you, sis. 2 hours later, at about 5 something, they rolled me into the OR. I got my epidural. It kicked in immediately. So I am pro epidural, but you know, do your thing. It's your choice. After that, I was feeling great. I couldn't feel nothing. I laid on the table. They brought my husband in, and I had like just this team of doctors, so many Black women. Like the actual doctors that performed on me, did the C-section, 2 Black women. All the nurses and other women in there were Black. Like I felt just like covered. Yes. Black girl magic. I don't feel anything, just a little bit of tugging here and there. And then all of us, my husband and I are literally having a conversation as they're operating on me. And then all of a sudden I hear a cry. And I was like, is that her? Is that one of them? And they were like, it's both. I didn't even know that you could take 2 babies out at the same time. I immediately started to like cry / throw up because my guts are just wide open. Maybe 10 minutes later, after they were actually born, they brought the babies to me. And I got to see my girls, and I can't describe. Girl, I can't describe. You cannot tell me that God ain't real. It's amazing. So yeah, like I will never forget the moment that I heard them cry, and I will never forget the moment that I saw them. And I was like, these are my girls. I'm a mother. My babies are here. They're healthy. And I'm so thankful. Hey girl. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed watching me do my very basic face. I hope that you enjoyed me installing my wig and that you enjoyed my birthing story. I really wanted to share the story because I get asked all the time, especially while I was pregnant, what it was like being pregnant with twins for the first time during a pandemic. Thank you to my mother for letting us use her fabulous dressing room. I'm trying to be like this when I grow up. Like I want this is an entire room, you guys. I'm gonna see if she's gonna let me film it one day. Please make sure that you like, share, subscribe. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, leave them below. I'll leave all of the information about the wig, all the makeup that I use in the description box below. And yeah, I really enjoyed kicking it with y'all today. And I will see you on the next one.